For 43 years, the federal government reduced or withheld Social Security benefits from millions of Americans. The average reduction was about $480 per month, and for many retirees, those cuts continued every month for the rest of their lives. About 800,000 widows and widowers saw their entire survivor benefit eliminated, not reduced, but completely gone because of two provisions buried deep within the Social Security Code that few people even knew existed. Those two provisions have now been eliminated. The Social Security Fairness Act was signed into law in January 2025, permanently repealing both rules. Retroactive payments are currently being processed. The average lump sum payment issued so far is $6,710, and some individuals are owed more than $22,000. However, the Social Security Administration is not contacting everyone directly, and thousands of people in the affected groups have still not received any money. Today, we will explain what these two rules were, who they affected, how much money may be owed, and the 3 steps that determine whether those funds are deposited into your account or remain stuck in a processing queue. For decades, the Social Security Administration applied 2 separate provisions that reduced or eliminated benefits for millions of Americans. Many people did not learn about these rules until they applied for benefits and discovered that the amount they expected had been significantly reduced. In some cases, they received nothing at all. The Windfall Elimination Provision, WEP. The first rule was known as the Windfall Elimination Provision, or WEP. It affected individuals who worked in public sector jobs with pension systems that did not withhold Social Security taxes and who also spent part of their careers in jobs covered by Social Security. Under WEP, Social Security benefits were calculated using a modified formula that reduced the value of those covered earnings. The longer someone worked in a non-covered pension job, the larger the reduction could be. The average monthly decrease under WEP was approximately $480, and some retirees lost as much as $587 per month. These reductions were permanent. Month after month, retirees collected less than they had expected based on their earnings history. More than 3.2 million Americans were affected by this provision. The Government Pension Offset, GPO. The second rule was the Government Pension Offset, or GPO. This provision primarily affected spouses and surviving spouses, individuals who qualified for spousal or survivor benefits based on their husband's or wife's Social Security record, while also receiving a government pension from a job that did not pay into Social Security, saw those benefits reduced by 2/3 of the pension amount. For example, if a government pension paid $1,500 per month, 2/3 of that amount, $1,000, would be subtracted from the spousal or survivor benefit. If the benefit itself was only $900, it would be completely eliminated. As a result, approximately 800,000 widows and widowers lost their entire survivor benefit. They received nothing from their spouse's Social Security record, despite decades of contributions intended to provide financial protection for surviving family members. 4 decades of attempts to repeal the rules over a 40-year period, Congress considered roughly 300 bills aimed at repealing these provisions. Lawmakers from both parties introduced legislation, while teachers' unions, firefighter associations, and federal employee organizations repeatedly lobbied for change. Hearings were held, testimony was given, and advocacy groups continued their efforts year after year. Yet none of those bills became law. Meanwhile, millions of Americans continued to receive reduced benefits, and hundreds of thousands of widows and widowers continued to lose survivor benefits entirely. The Social Security Fairness Act. On January 5, 2025, the Social Security Fairness Act was signed into law. The legislation completely repealed both the Windfall Elimination Provision and the Government Pension Offset. The repeal was not phased in and was not partial. Both rules were eliminated entirely. The law was also made retroactive to January 2024. As a result, the Social Security Administration owes affected beneficiaries the difference between what they actually received and what they should have received beginning in January 2024. The agency began processing corrections and issuing payments during 2025. According to available figures, the average retroactive payment issued so far is $6,710. The average permanent monthly increase in benefits is about $360, which amounts to an additional $4,320 per year for the rest of retirement. For individuals whose survivor benefits had been completely eliminated under GPO, the retroactive payments can be substantially larger. A survivor benefit of $1,840 per month that had been reduced to zero would result in a back payment exceeding $22,000, along with the restoration of the full monthly benefit going forward. The Congressional Budget Office has estimated that the total value of benefit corrections under this law will reach approximately $196 billion over the next decade. Processing delays. Despite the repeal, not everyone has received their full correction. The Social Security Administration must process more than 4 million individual account adjustments, and cases are being handled in batches. Some people have experienced delays lasting months while continuing to receive benefits based on the old formulas. Reports issued in 2025 by the SSA Inspector General identified these delays as a significant concern. As a result, some individuals in 2026 still have not seen their monthly benefits adjusted. Others have received retroactive payments, but continue to receive monthly checks calculated under the previous rules. Some people who qualified for corrections under both WEP and GPO have reportedly had only one adjustment applied. If you have not reviewed your Social Security account since January 2025, you may not know whether your benefit has been fully corrected. 4 groups are affected. Listen carefully to see whether you are one of them. Group 1. There are 4 major groups of people who may be affected by these changes. The first group includes public school teachers, particularly those who worked in Alaska, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Georgia, Illinois, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maine, Massachusetts, Missouri, Nevada, Ohio, Rhode Island, or Texas. If you also worked other jobs during your career where you paid Social Security taxes, you may be affected. The second group includes firefighters, police officers, and other state or local government employees in those same states who also paid into Social Security through other employment at some point during their careers. The third group consists of federal employees who were hired before January 1st, 1984, and participated in the Civil Service Retirement System, CSRS, rather than the Federal Employees Retirement System, FERS. If you are not sure which retirement system covered you, review your old federal benefits paperwork or contact your former agency's Human Resources Office. The fourth group includes widows and widowers whose spousal or survivor benefits were reduced or eliminated because they receive a government pension. If you fall into any one of these 4 groups, this law may apply directly to you. A retroactive payment could already be associated with your record. Here's exactly what to do. First, visit ssa.gov and log into your My Social Security account. If you do not already have one, create an account. You will need your Social Security number and a valid email address, and the process generally takes only a few minutes. Once you are signed in, open your benefit statement and review your current monthly benefit amount. Specifically, look for any reference to WEP or GPO. If a reduction is still listed and your monthly benefit has not increased since January 2025, your adjustment may not yet be complete. Your case could still be waiting in the processing queue. Second, call the Social Security Administration at 1-800-772-1213. When a representative answers, say, "I want to verify whether my account has been fully corrected under the Social Security Fairness Act for WEP or GPO." Using those words helps identify the correction history that applies to your record. The representative should be able to tell you whether your case has been completed, is still pending, or has not yet been assigned. If your case is pending, ask for the expected processing date and request that your call be noted in the record. If the representative says your case has already been closed but you believe your monthly amount is still incorrect, say, "I would like to file a formal request for reconsideration." According to the information presented, that request results in a higher level review of your benefit correction record. There is one additional step that is especially important for widows and widowers whose survivor benefits were completely eliminated under the government pension offset. If your original survivor benefit claim was denied outright rather than simply reduced, do not assume that the correction occurred automatically after the law changed. Some cases may require a completely new survivor benefit application because there was no approved claim on file to reverse. When speaking with the Social Security Administration, ask, does my case require a new survivor benefit application under the Social Security Fairness Act? According to the information discussed, that question may determine whether a retroactive payment is processed or whether the claim remains unresolved. For more than 4 decades, millions of Americans had their benefits reduced under 2 provisions that many people never knew existed. Those provisions have now been repealed. Retroactive payments are being issued, with average payments reported at $6,710, while some individuals may be owed substantially more. However, not everyone has received a correction, and not everyone has been contacted. Reviewing your account, contacting the Social Security Administration, and asking the appropriate questions may help determine whether your record has been fully updated. If you know someone over the age of 60 who is currently receiving Social Security benefits, sharing this information with them may encourage them to review their own situation and determine whether they are affected. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.